Hi Rolla. So in this video I'm doing the presentation for lab 6 time dimension. It's a long lab, so I will jump over some of the steps to save time. So right now let's go to Framework Manager, and the data source is connected and the package is published. So let's go directly to BI server and take a look. So the sales fact and sales target are already imported into the list. So right now we're running the report without a time dimension, and let's see how it looks like. So this is how it looks like. So we can see here that the order date does not really match the time in the sales year and sales period. So we can explore a little bit the reason why. So let's go to the context explorer here. And here we can see clearly that there isn't a conform time dimension table between sales fact and sales target. That's why they didn't join together in the previous report. So that's why we need to create a conform time dimension to do queries. So the reason why we need the time dimension in this lab is to create a report that compares monthly sales target to actual sales. So here the time dimension table is already imported, so let's go ahead and test the time dimension table first. So in here we can see that in time dimension the date matches the format of sales facts order date, and the current year and the current month matches the sales targets, sales year and sales period. So that's why the two facts table can be joined using a conformed time dimension. So right now let's examine the relationships created between time dimension and facts. So here we can see that the time dimension date is joined to the order date in sales fact, and we can see the expression here, time dimension equals order date in sales fact. And similarly, the date in time dimension is joined to the return date in returns fact. And also between time dimension and sales target, there's two relationships. One is current year joined to sales target sales year, and the other is current month. That's joined to the sales target sales period. So let's go ahead and examine the relationships in the Context Explorer. So we can see now between the facts there is a common conform dimension of time. Okay, so now with the new relationships created, I just created a new query subject of time in the consolidation view that includes year, quarter key, quarter, month key, month numeric, month English, day key, and date. And the calculation object of month is also created for multilingual data according to the lab instructions. So right now, let's test the new package and see what it looks like. Oh, it's not this one, it's this one. Okay, so in the list, there's the new year and month from the time query subject, and it's joined to the sales target revenue from sales fact and the return quantity from returns fact. So let's run the report and see how it looks like with the new query subject. So we can see here that with the new relationship, the sales target and revenue are too high because obviously double counting occurs. So that's why we need to specify time determinants to resolve these ambiguous joins. So here in activity 2, we're creating role-playing time dimensions to resolve ambiguous joins. Because we cannot only use one time dimension to join other fact tables. So here the time aliases are already created. And another thing is the month expressions are copy and pasted with the calculation objects, which accommodates multilingual queries. So for both close month and ship month, they're copied into the expression. So let's go ahead and examine the relationships of sales fact here. And we'll just take a look. So the relationships, new relationships are already created with the role-playing dimensions. So let's run the report and see. Uh, it looks like this. So we can see the relationships, ambiguous joins are resolved. So now we come to activity 3, which is the most interesting part, to specify determinants on the time dimension. So remember, our goal for the report is to compare the monthly sales targets to actual sales. So if we remember the previous test, the sales target values are being double counted, so they're too high. So that's why we need to specify determinants on the time dimension to correct this problem. So let's go ahead and examine the relationships first here. So we can see the date is joined to order date and sales fact, and is also joined to return date and returns fact. So the current month and current year from time dimension is joined to sales year and sales period. So also let's test the time dimension and take another look and see how the time dimension table actually looks like. So we can see here the date key, date, month key, current month, month number, and etc. etc. So these are the determinant information we're gonna correct in the determinants tab. So let's go ahead and open the determinants. So they're already created here. So for the day, we made the modification to replace the date key with date because it is the date information is uniquely identified anyhow, so we don't need the date key. And we also have year, quarter, and month. They have the group by function, and the day have the uniquely identified function. So let's go ahead and run the report. So here we can see we have year and month from the time dimension in the consolidation view, and we also drag the sales target from the sales target, and revenue from sales fact. So also we have the date. Don't forget that. So let's go ahead and run the report. And we can see here in this report, the issue has been resolved. So we have the correct sales target that is aggregated by the month level, so they're not being double counted anymore. And the information is also grouped by month and year. So we also had that option back in the report studio. So we can see that the sales target are repeated value on the month level, and the date is uniquely identified, and revenue is correctly related to each report date. So we don't have the issue from our first test anymore. So this is very interesting. We have specified the time determinants, and we have corrected the double counting issue in the report. So we have the correct information that compares monthly sales target to actual sales.